What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Scott Proctor alongside my guy Matt Morris. We're back with another episode of Simple Question, but this time we'll have more than one, and this will be a first time for Simple Question because we have two special guests joining us this time. Lewis Lamar Butler from the 2006 George Mason team that made the Final Four as an 11 seed, one of the most memorable Cinderellas in NCAA tournament history. Thanks for joining us, my guys. How we doing today?
Everything's good. Can't complain.
Yeah, man. Long night, man. I had my daughter up all night with me, but everything's good.
But we're back up. We're back up with it now. We let it hear, man. Let's hop right into things, man. What do you remember most? This is a question for both of you guys, really, out the gate. What do you remember most from that magical run? Obviously, beating Michigan State, North Carolina, Wichita State in a Rudy Gay-led UConn squad. You know, how do you guys kind of process what you guys were able to accomplish? Almost 15 years later, so now.
For me, it's just a lifetime full of memories for me. It's just every stage, every round was something different, something memorable, and I just like the fact that we were able to stick together throughout it all, and it's a bond that we got that's still lasting to today.
I agree. I'll say the same. Really can't just say the tournament. I would say that was probably the closest team that me and Ja had throughout our years at Mason, on and off the floor. And the Final Four was just the result of us being so close as a team, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right. And to go off of that a little bit, that closeness obviously allows you guys to play amazing on the floor together, a great team play. And I feel like that's something that you see all the time with the teams in college basketball. Do you feel like that was something that should be focused more on and was a main factor rather than, the star names that sometimes get all the headlines?
Oh, for sure. I know Jack can speak on this too. And especially in the UConn game. I felt that was the main reason we won, because down the stretch, they were arguing. It seemed like every free throw, they were arguing in the game. Somebody didn't get the ball. They were just arguing. So they fractured, whereas we came together down the stretch, and that was one of the reasons that we won that game.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely about us being able to know each other during the rough times and the good times. I think for us, we didn't have to point the finger or yell at each other to basically correct somebody. We can just give each other that look. We already understood.
Right.
We was a real family. We wasn't just
right.
a team full of superstars put together and expected to win. We actually put the time and effort in to know each other, learn each other on and off the court.
No doubt. And obviously, one of the mementos of that magical run, I'm sure, Lamar, you probably hold this close to your heart. You being on the cover of Sports Illustrated. What was that moment like? What was that snapshot in time like? Something that you can, take of something, a physical copy, really, evidence and, proof of, just what you guys were able to do. How do you kind of hold that close to your heart? And where does that fall in, memories, mementos of that run?
Really, it didn't even hit me when it happened. I remember because after practice, I used to always get up shots with Coach JJ. So I was on the other end of the floor that day. And I remember Coach L just like, "Oh my God," he was holding something. I don't know where you were, Jay. I don't know if you were with him when he first said it, but I just kept shooting. And then he called my name, like, "Come look at this." So I looked at it, glanced at it, and it was a fax copy. I put it back down on the seat, and I went back down to shoot with JJ. But yeah, it didn't really hit me till afterwards. I remember I sat down on the bench, and then it was like, I texted my mom and my dad, and I was just like, and they were excited, but it didn't really hit me. I think I was so focused on the actual tournament. It didn't really hit me until after. My mom was like, "Do you know that was on my birthday?" And when they released it, and I was like, "Oh man!" So like every year, her birthday, I look at it, and it's like it's my mom's birthday. So that was a great gift for her. So I think it was more important for them than me. Yeah, but like you said, it's something that I can show my kids. Even my daughter, she sees it now. She asks questions because she's getting up that age. But I think it's more important for everybody else than me. Like Josh said, like that was more of a culmination of our team than like me per se. So
Sure.
I just let them bask in the cover of the Sports Illustrated.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and kind of going off that's part of that media hype that you guys get. And what was it like? Because you win that first game against Michigan State, and then you don't really have time to focus on anything else other than the next game. What is it like that week in between leading up to the Sweet 16 And then even after that, when it was heading into the Final Four, what are that time period like where you're trying to focus on the games, but everybody's going to be talking about you and the media is going crazy?
It was hectic, believe it or not. Between trying to get to class, practice, all the not social media, but all the interviews and stuff we had to do. I think practice was really our outlet. Coach did a good job not making it seem like we was in there for practice, but made it seem like it was a place for us to, really relax and be able to focus on what we need to focus on.
I wanted to ask about, and I think Matt will kind of get to your guys' former coach who is still coaching in the tournament this time around in the Sweet 16 with the Miami Hurricanes. But I'm curious. I know you guys are watching. I know you guys are basketball fans. As you're watching the tournament, this edition of the tournament, what are some teams that you guys like? Is there a team or two that you watch and they kind of remind you of what you guys were able to put on the court at George Mason? Or how do you guys kind of view the field left these final 16 teams?
I would say I actually am rooting for Miami because they play hard. Like, you play for Coach A, you got to play hard. Like, it's no way around it. Like, if you don't play hard, defend, and play together, you're not playing on the floor on that team. So I'm actually rooting for Miami. They have a bunch of guys that nobody really knew until this year, until this tournament. They don't have any superstars. They just play hard. So I will say that team reminds me of us. So I'm definitely rooting for them. No bias, but outside of Miami, St. Peter's for sure.
Right.
They got a bunch of dudes just at your neck every possession. That's fun to watch. I say those two teams in the tournament for me.
I can't really say no teams for sure, but it's definitely a couple of these 12 seeds, 11 seeds. It was a 15 seed that won, all playing together as a team. That's what I like. But I'm definitely going for Miami for sure.
Definitely.
And I mean, what was it like playing for, Coach Larinaga and being able to go through it with him and now seeing him still doing this and, 15 years later, he's taking a new school and they're still kind of playing the way that you guys recommend?
I think till this day, Coach Earl don't realize we were laughing at him, not with him. He doesn't mind being the butt of a joke. And he thinks that you're laughing with him. It's like, nah, man, we laughing at him. But Job has plenty of Coach Earl stories, so I'll let him answer that one.
I mean, I feel like he does what he has to do to get you in that right mind frame to go out there and do your best. So if it's him being the butt of the joke, he's going to do that.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And we mentioned the St. Peter squad, a 15 seed who's now in the Sweet 16, who looks like this year's kind of version of a Cinderella. What advice would you have for a St. Peter squad? What would you tell this squad who is trying to do something that only a few teams have been able to do? What would your advice be for this new edition of this Cinderella?
For me, I would tell them to continue playing their style of basketball. It's gotten them this far. Just make sure they stick together through adversity. Make sure they stay poised in the big moment.
Definitely. Same. I agree with y'all.
Yeah, and I mean, one last one for you guys. St. Peter's, like we said, they're kind of looking like that version. But what does it mean to you guys, and what kind of pride do you have for the fact that whenever we talk about a Cinderella or a team making one of these runs, we're always going to bring up George Mason, and we're always going to think about you guys and that team and that amazing run that one year?
It means a lot because we put ourselves in the history books forever as long as another 11 seed or higher doesn't make it to the Final Four. But
right,
it's our time to shine every year, every March. I get excited just to see what's going on. And the fact that I become a celebrity all over again. So it's fun for me.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Lamar, you have anything to add to that?
No, I agree. And also, like every March, like Josh says, we get the calls, the requests to do interviews. And I get to reminisce, the times we had, not just that year, but our years playing together. It was that run that you asked me started before, that 2006 year. We got plenty of stories off camera, but I just get to reminisce on those stories every March, and it's definitely fun going down memory lane.
And it definitely seems like every year it comes around, we learning something new or remembering something new that it may be an experience that Lamar hasn't shared yet, and it comes out and be like, oh yeah, I forgot all about that, or something like that. We got stuff that's gonna last forever. So.
Yeah, because dumped some water on Coach L in practice one day, and I totally forgot about it.
Hilarious stuff, man. Yeah, you guys get.
I had the envision that we was winning.
He was
I bet he's for all of that. As long as y'all win, I think he's good for all of it.
Of course.
The thing about it is, before we broke the huddle, he talked about, us envisioning things happening so we can manifest it for it to actually happen. So when me and Will poured the water on him, he was really upset at first.
Right.
Then his own words played back in his head, and all he could do was just walk away pretty much.
100%. That makes sense. So I actually got one more question about Coach L. What do you think is it that makes him able to relate to his players, so often, being an older coach, not being, necessarily really close in age. How do you think he was able to, back in 2006 for a team and then still 15 years later with the even younger crew, how do you think he's able to, continue to relate to his players and get the most out of it, the best out of it?
I can, and Jock can speak on this too. I would say like maybe 2003, Coach L actually switched his coaching style. Like Coach L used to be very like animated, aggressive, like always barking. He just became more relaxed and more of a teacher. And I think when he did that, we weren't on his edge as much, and we could just talk. Like I know Coach L and I had a lot of conversations about basketball life. He just opened up more as a person. I would say about 2002, 2003. And he changed. I don't know what it was. I think I know what it was, but he just changed as a person, became more open. And that was my observation.
Yeah.
For me, I think he took the time to like listen and learn us. Because I know my freshman year, it took about a whole year for us to actually be on the same page and gel, and for him to understand who I was as a person, and for me to understand who he was. So, I mean, he was patient. He's patient, and he's willing to listen and learn from and how to make you a better person. So,
yeah, because he was out for about like a couple of weeks when he was going through that treatment, and I want to say when he came back, I think he just was a different person. And like you said, he just wanted to get to know everybody on a personal level. Like a lot of our talks wasn't even about basketball after that, and he just did a 180.
Definitely. That could be a lesson. That should be a lesson for a lot of these coaches out here. Just get to relate to your players. And when they know that, you care about them as a person, even more than what they're doing, performance on the basketball court, that's when you get the results. So that's awesome stuff. I think that's all the questions we got for you guys, though. This has been awesome stuff, reminiscing. I'm glad you guys were able to, reminisce a little bit more as former teammates, and we loved hearing more about the stories. But that's going to do it for us. Can't wait to continue to watch in March and thinking about you guys. But that's going to do it for us. For Simple Question, for Scott Proctor, Matt Morris, Lamar Butler, Jai Lewis. We'll catch you on the next episode of Simple Question. Thanks so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having us.